Hey guys, Eric at Florida High Performance here. Welcome back to the channel. Today I've got something extremely special for you, a 2019 ZR1 Corvette. Super rare car. It's even more rare to modify one of them. We've had this car for a while. We had a couple of issues. But that's all good because we got a badass motor coming for it. We're gonna make a ton of power in this thing. Come check it out. Guys, welcome back. So before we start digging into this car, I want to do a little overview of what makes the ZR1 so special compared to say the Z06 or the Grand Sports, the other Corvettes, and the 7th generation, right, the C7 Corvettes. This car, not only is it rare in the sense that it's a limited production car, but it also comes with the LT5. This is the only production vehicle that GM puts out that comes with the LT5. What makes the LT5 unique? Well, it is a 6.2 liter based engine, so it's the same size as an LT4 and LT1, 6.2 liters, but comes with a huge supercharger on it. That's the biggest difference between this and say the Z06 that comes with a smaller blower. This is a huge blower. It moves a ton of air and helps this car make the power it makes off the showroom floor. So the LT5 comes with secondary injection. So not only do we have the injectors underneath the supercharger, but we also have fuel rails that run along here and actually spray fuel into the ports of the supercharger. Port injection, right? So we call it secondary injection. It's another way of getting fuel in this motor. There's 8 injectors, there's 4 per side. There are the rails, and it's unique to the LT5. So the ZR1 actually came to us quite a while ago. We got this very early on in 2019. Yes, 2019. And the customer who owns the car wanted to go crazy with it. He's got a little drag racing background himself, and he knew that he wanted this thing to make a ton of power. So we started ordering parts. Cylinder heads, different cam. We had the blower ported from Kong. Had a bunch of work done to this car, intakes and throttle bodies, and did a fuel system on it. We have MS-109 in the tank. And we got it all together. We got it on the rollers after several months. And unfortunately, we had a little mishap on the dyno. We think the main bearings in the bottom end got wiped out. We're not really sure. We spoke to the experts at Late Model Engines, and they actually said that it's pretty common on these LT engines, especially at high horsepower levels, that you may have issues with the bearings. Unfortunately, we were the unlucky ones in that situation. We called the customer and said, listen, we're pushing this thing. We had an issue with the motor. I think we're gonna have to take the motor out. What do you wanna do? Of course, in true drag racer fashion, he said, well, let's build it. Let's make it better. And that's exactly what we're gonna do. So we're gonna take this little mishap and we're gonna turn it into a beast, right? So what do? Well, first thing we talk about is the motor. We want to make 1200 horsepower at the wheels in this car. So we call the experts at Late Model Engines in Houston, Texas. And we said, guys, we have a 19 ZR1. We want to go to the track. We want to run around crazy times. We want to make crazy horsepower. What do we need? They said, not a problem. And they actually turned us on to this beautiful thing right here, this work of art. So what they do is they take the new 6.6 liter iron block that GM has just put out. Super strong block, a little heavier than the aluminum, but again, for the power we're going after and for what we're doing with this car, we thought that the iron would provide the strength we need to kind of keep everything together. They topped it off with a set of Edelbrock heads that they actually CNC and machine themselves in-house. They put some badass valves in it, some T&D rocker arms, and of course, on the insides, the best of the best. Cali's Magnum crank, billet rods. We went with some diamond pistons in this thing, so it's actually O-ringed, so it's really gonna help the seal between the cylinder head and the deck of the engine. Get an O-ring in there, keep that thing nice and tight under a lot of boost. So this thing's really been built from the bottom up for a ton of horsepower. So what we're basically gonna do is take the old motor out, the stock LT5, we're gonna yank that thing out, and we're gonna switch over all the parts that we'd already had on this car. The ported blower, the bigger intake, all those things are gonna go into this engine. We're gonna put it back in the car, and then we're gonna put it on the dyno. We're hoping for, again, 1,000, 1,100, 1,200, somewhere in there. We're not really sure yet. We're gonna see what this thing puts out, but bottom line, it's gonna be badass. It's gonna make a ton of power. It's gonna do it very reliably. We're not sparing any expense in this build, and we're very, very much looking forward to getting this thing on the track and running some serious times. All right, guys, that about wraps it up. If you're as excited as I am about putting this motor in this ZR1, make sure you subscribe to our channel, like this video, and comment below. I'd love to hear what you think this car is going to make at the rear wheels. See you next time.